Transform to One is a faith-based organization, and we focus on fostering transformation through Christ-centered initiatives. We are currently in a series on our YouTube channel called Celebrating Sexual Purity. And this is in keeping with our upcoming workshop, Navigating Trauma. And so in today's talk, I speak with a very dear friend. Her name is Yanike Phipps. I can't recall what year. I would have to do some math. We became friends. I can remember being in a group with Yanike's aunt at church. And Yanike joined the group. She came to one meeting and I don't think she came back after that. But we connected after that meeting and we have been friends since then. I've met her cousin, I have met her husband now, and it has just been a blessing to be a part of her family. And today she has agreed to share some of her journey with us, her unfortunate early sexual experiences, and just how the Lord has taken her through. So here it is. Hope you guys benefit and be blessed. Hi guys, I'm Shani from Transform to One. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have with me a very good friend. Her name is Yanike. And she's going to be sharing with us her journey. As you guys know, we have our upcoming workshop, and the theme this year is celebrating sexual purity. So along that theme, Yanike has had a journey of some not so good stuff going on, and she has been very willing and available to just share with us so that we can help others who may have gone through similar situations to heal and be open to what the Lord can do in our lives to overcome challenges. So welcome, Yanike.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So the first thing we'll say in our conversation, because this is not an interview, guys, it's a conversation.
Yes, a conversation.
So we just want to start at the beginning. What is the beginning of your journey as it relates to sexual activities? Let's start there.
All right. So, all right. So, it all started that I can remember, because I have flashbacks every now and then. But when I was introduced, I think I was around maybe 5 years old. I wasn't penetrated or anything of the sort, but somebody, took out their penis and asked what it was and so forth. By this, I think at this time I was living with my mom. Then I was living with my aunt in Portmore. She had a neighbor. I think he was maybe in his late teens, in his early 20s. And I remember he used to come into our home and play games with us, video games and so forth. I think it was Mario and Mortal Kombat or something like that. Yeah. So we used to play that. Funny enough, it was my cousin and I. There's two young girls. I'm 2 years older than her. But I don't know why he took a liking to me, but he did. I don't remember. I know there was an incident between he and I. I honestly don't know when it started. I don't know what was said. It's almost as if my mind completely just black it out. It's just blank. When I try to remember, it's blank. The only thing I remember when he had hurt me, because I remember I went in the bathroom. I remember that he had hurt me down there, so I remember that. I remember also when he wanted me to do oral sex on him, and I told him no. And I remember he said something as it relates to, I think it was maybe my looks at the time. Maybe I didn't look good enough or whatever it is. And this had continued for a couple of years. Well, I didn't share it with my aunt, I didn't share it with my cousin, I didn't share it with anybody at all. I just remember I just isolated myself. I remember becoming very angry. The least thing would have probably just ticked me off, and nobody I think try to wonder like what, she wasn't really like this before, why the sudden change and so forth. I guess they just say that, oh, that's a mistake and just sometime-ish, or all the other negative things that would come with it. This incident would have really bruised my confidence as well as my self-esteem, because I believe that I was ugly.
So, question before you continue, just to get an understanding. In terms of your looks, what exactly was it that he said? Is it that it wasn't good, so therefore he didn't want to do the oral? What was the...
I have, to be honest, I really don't know. Okay. I just know that he started calling me names, and then saying that I am ugly. And mind you, I'm in prep school,
right?
I'm in prep school, so and then at that time too, you don't want age-appropriate crushes as well. Right. So now, when you realize that boys at your school wasn't really liking you, but this big old tough, this man, this man, or this young guy was, after you and so forth. So yeah.
Okay. So you were talking about your self-esteem and...
Yeah, so I had a really low self-esteem. Though people that say, oh, you have such a beautiful smile and you should smile often and whatever. But I was just going through a whole lot in my head. And I guess it was just showing on my face. Because I wore it on my sleeve, to be honest. I really was wearing it. Because nobody saw. And I wish somebody could have seen. Though my aunt had an open door policy to share that if somebody touched me inappropriately, I was supposed to share. But to this day, I don't know why I didn't share. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what he had said to me, if he had threatened me or whatever. I just don't know, and I don't remember. But this, so it did really, and my confidence as well. So I always doubt myself, and I always shy away from crowds, and yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to, is that still the case now at a later time in the conversation? Because I want to know if, how did you get over that, if at all? But one of the things I wanted to ask before we move on is, just for the purpose of if that's happening to anybody else, what can parents or guardians put in place? Because your aunt had already said that you can share it for whatever reason, no fault of yours, you're a child, and so for whatever reason you felt like you couldn't, and so you didn't. Is it a case where you were at home alone often? How easy was it, and what can, or not necessarily how easy was it, what can parents do to help to guard their children or our children in society from things like these?
All right, that's good. You see, the thing is, I've come to realize that it's not strangers that hurt you. It's the one that you trust and invite in your home, in your space. And being that it's like a close-knitted neighborhood. It was a new scheme, and everybody was close and so forth. And she knew his mother, his sisters. Everybody was really close. And so it was an open door. So you come, sometimes we would go down to their home as well, or go into another person's home. I would call them auntie and uncle and all of those different things, And so, yeah, it's the ones that are close to you that will hurt your children. We weren't really left unattended per se, because like I said, it was a close community. So if you should have asked a neighbor to give an eye on us, And I think we're old enough to stay on our own. We were always locked in the house. And sometimes a Tifa, but we're always locked inside of the house. I think also is that if an incident like that, I guess parents or guardians can be more observant.
Okay.
Yeah. If they know that their child was not one way, and then their behavior over time just changed so drastically, I think it's about like, wait, something is up. What is up? Why is this person start behaving this type of way?
And nobody ever asked.
No.
Nobody ever asked.
No. It was just said that, oh, I'm just like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember my next question.
Oh, well, all right. So, and I think I also I think at the time too, I believe that it was my fault. So there's a lot of guilt and shame on my part. I felt a lot of that. So I didn't share, even though there's an open door policy. I didn't share with my aunt that somebody had hurt me, and this thing has been happening however long, because I felt the guilt and shame. I felt threatened also by this person if I speak what's going to happen to me.
What made you feel responsible, you think? Or that guilt?
I have really no idea. I think it just come with the uncleanness of it.
So you're aware that you're doing something wrong. It's being done to you, but the activity is not right. Okay, got you. Okay, understood. Okay. All right. So thanks for sharing. And again, happy that the Lord has taken you through and that you're on the journey to healing and overcoming. And we're sorry that you went through that. The next thing would be, having gone through that as a child at that age, what were your teenage years like? How did it, if at all, did it guide or inform, your choices? Did you overcome that view of yourself when you started dating? What did dating look like? How did the experience mold your teenage years?
All right. So first I want to add that it was found out that the person I was, he was molesting me. Let's put it, it's not the person I was having sex, but he was molesting me. And so I was going counseling, and I have to big up my counselor, Faith Gordon, wonderful person. I think she really saw me. I think I think I had other counselors, but they didn't look at me. Just look at the whole situation. But she looked at me, and I remember she used to, like, when I had my session, she would have the cards. She would bring cards for me, and she would say, "Yanike, you're fearfully and wonderfully made." She would always try to do something to undo, the negative way I saw myself, that little low self-esteem. So she'll always try to do stuff to undo it. I have the cards still this day. The person, I don't think he had ever gone to jail. And I had other molestation in between that, outside of him molesting me. You had asked about what was my teenage years. I think those were the worst years. I don't remember I don't think I had a real good childhood, to be honest. I think because I was exposed so young, I just felt like this is what I'm supposed to do now. And so that's where I became promiscuous. Wow. I remember just saying to myself, like, well, them hurt me, might as well just give it up, and this is what I'm here to do. And because I was so accustomed to having sex so early, I was saying that it's just a natural thing to do, it's a normal thing to do. And so I think I used to also play with men's mind as well. And I would just give it up and then just probably block them and whatever. So I would try to take the masculine role as well. I would try to hurt them before they hurt me. But yeah, that's kind of short-lived still, but I did it anyways. Right. Yeah. So it was a horrible scene. I don't remember. It wasn't really good.
Right. Right. And we can understand. With a foundation like that for something that the Lord didn't make for children, never made it to be an abusive situation. We can understand with a skewed perception of what something like that should be, why you would have gone that route. Okay. And then from your teenage years now into adulthood, when did things, you mentioned counseling, so we thank God for the intervention. When did things start to really change in a significant way, or if they changed incrementally? What was that process like? What were some of the other things or people that helped you along the journey of overcoming everything that came with that opening up, to sexual activity at that young age? So the low self-esteem, the lifestyle of thinking, let me just hurt them before they hurt me type of thing. When did things start to change?
All right. So I believe things changed in my early 20s. Mind you, I grew in a Christian home. I got baptized at 14, but then I wasn't really walking and doing the talk. I wasn't walking and talking as a Christian, you know. I think I was probably 24, 25 when I had recommitted my life. And I think giving the Lord all of that pain, all of that anger, because it does bring anger and rage and resentment, and it comes a whole lot of stuff. One time I was suicidal, I was depressed, I was taking medication for depression as well. So it came with a lot of baggage, and so I gave the Lord all of those things that I was struggling with. And I remember just going through a deliverance, couple sessions, and I forgave my molesters. It was hard, but I did it. I wrote letters like I was going to give it to them. I burnt it. So it was the change really happened when I recommitted my life and gave it to the Lord. And then I guess I started talking about it. And then I went to school again. I enrolled in college, and the Lord led me to do social work, and it also opened. I had to do a lot of psychology courses, and it let me know now why I was behaving the way I was behaving. So, and I remember calling my aunt at one point and telling her to even forgive the person that had caused the damage, and it just brought a lot of healing. That's where the healing process started. Jesus first, then going to school and just paying more attention to me and my own healing. Yeah.
So forgiveness was a big part of the
Oh
journey.
yes. Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah. Do you feel like you still have to forgive? Like, are there days when thoughts come into your mind, and do you feel like, are you still on that journey, or is it all gone? Everything feels great.
So because memories don't die like people do, they're always there. So there are times that I would have flashback, or my mind would just go its own way. But when it does, I would say, thank you, Lord, for delivering me. Thank you, Lord, for cleaning me, making me whole. Stuff like that. Because I know probably the enemy want to put me in that low depressive state. Because I always say that if I didn't, and then if I wasn't interfered with at a young age, maybe I wouldn't make certain mistakes. And or sometimes I want to know what happened, what was said, But
yeah. You were saying that you looking inward was something that changed you, and the way you would have perceived yourself before to the way now you're able to forgive yourself as well, and then see yourself as whole, because God made you whole, not because of anything else. Like, just to emphasize the importance of that and what that process was like for you.
All right, so yeah, I held myself hostage. I allowed the perpetrators, the predators, to live rent-free in my head, in my body, in my own soul. And so I decided that I no longer wanted them there. And forgiveness it's not for the person, it's really for me. It's for me releasing them, releasing whatever came with it. And so I chose to forgive them. I chose that this is the way because whether I'm going to just do some coloring, whether I'm going to just write, make some, have journal, or just talk about it. But, because it's not my fault. It was never my fault. Right. And it's not my shame or guilt to carry. And so I started talking. I started just chatting away about it. And I saw that brought out a healing to me. And so, yeah, that is how I got the healing and just started dealing with me. I saw that also because I think even the way I carried myself, I just carried myself very, Jamaican would say chaka chaka. I just really didn't care how I present myself to the world. I couldn't really care less what anybody had to say. And because then the self-esteem was very low as well. But then I saw that, listen, I need to do better. It is a part of the healing as well. So it's how am I going to carry myself to the world, how people want to perceive me and all of those stuff. So I decided to change up some stuff. Not all yet, but some.
We're getting there. Work in progress.
Amen.
Like all of us. Okay. I love that you're on the journey, and you're on the journey to growth and healing. And I mean, that's the best place that we can be. So congrats for that.
Okay.
And as you were talking about how you presented yourself to the world, I was just thinking about children that have gone through similar situations. And obviously when you were a child, that we really have a responsibility as adults to pay more attention. And to speak life into children, because you really don't know what they're going through. A lot of times when they're acting out, there's a reason.
Oh yes.
There's a reason. You may not be very close to the child, and to even go back to the discussion about what we can do as children, as parents and adults, I think being cautious. So, as you're saying, if the case, and you're not the only person that we hear say it's somebody that's close to you. Yeah, so therefore, be extra cautious. Even though you trust the person, even though you think they would never, still put everything in place as best as you can to ensure don't let down our guard. Don't let down our guard. And if there's anything that we notice, talk about it, ask a question, change a scenario, change a situation, because we are supposed to be protecting our children.
Yes.
We have a responsibility. And it's very sad that, a lot of them are going through things and we just see it as, bad child or misbehave or rude or, and there is a reason. And a lot of times they can't protect themselves. So yeah, that's a charge for us as adults and parents to do everything that we can to protect our children. All right, so we spoke about childhood, we spoke about the teenage years and, getting older and the help and intervention that came to bring you closer to where you are now. Now you're a married woman.
Yes.
Almost 2 years.
Yes.
What has that been like, in terms of, obviously, sex is mental. You have everything coming up that you would have gone through. Has that impacted, have your experiences prior to marriage impacted your marriage in any way, good or bad? And what have you done to respond to how it has impacted?
All right. So, it's a good thing that my husband was my friend before.
Yeah.
And so, he's such a sweetheart. And I will lie, I was able to share my past with him, and there was no judgment. I guess some people were turned off by it. I guess some people just don't know or what to do with it when they're here. But he was understanding. He was, they got empathetic. He was sympathetic. Sympathetic. He was like, he's so sorry that I had to go through that and so forth. And I shared that I was, a bit promiscuous. I shared those things. I see that though, like in the marriage, it sometimes, because like I said, I do have flashback every now and then, and I can tend to isolate myself. Even though I'm married, I can tend to just want to be in my own space, and also sometimes I don't want to be touched. Because yes, that there's good touch and bad touch, but they sometimes just really don't like to be touched. Could be in the bed lying down, I'm just probably touching me, and I'm like pulling away and so forth. And he's like, Yanike, remember I'm your husband, and or sometimes just let me be. So he's also learning how to deal with me and help me just continue on my healing journey, because I mean, yes, there's versions or levels of healing. So he has been helping me. I guess he doesn't even know that he's helping me, but he has been. There are times where I just don't want to talk to him. I don't want to see him. I want to be my own we have 2 bedrooms. I want to be in another bedroom. But he has been very patient and very gracious and kind. It has been a process. And the funny thing too is that even before, even because you have to do your own counseling before marriage and whatever, I had my own counseling sessions at Family Life Ministries. And I was, just sharing that I want to get married or getting married. And I wanted to deal with certain issues that I had from the past. And I guess that also had helped a lot. It had helped a lot. But marriage has been good, and my husband has been understanding.
Nice. I'm happy for that. And happy anniversary when it comes.
Thank you.
All right. So I want us to share with our listeners encouragement for persons who maybe have a similar journey to yours. Persons who are trying to forgive people who have hurt them, persons who maybe have not started sharing their story, and sharing is something that we have to do in our own time, and definitely in a safe space where, as you mentioned, sharing with your husband, you weren't being judged. That's a big part. You don't want to go back into feeling less than, you want to be growing. So just ways that we can encourage persons and things that can help. I mean, you would have mentioned a number of them: going to counseling, seeing yourself a certain way, being serious about your relationship with the Lord. Are there any other things, and what encouragement can you give to people who would have had similar stories?
I'm big on, we're Christians, so I'm big on giving all your burdens to the Lord, every single one of them, because He really cares, and so I just big on just telling Him how you feel, telling Him all of that. I'm also big on, when this comes in person's own time as well, forgiveness. But I realized too that unforgiveness, it makes you sick. It literally makes you sick. It makes your heart heavy. It makes you angry. It does so much. It drags you. It ages you, to be honest. And so I believe that in their own time, forgiveness is a big thing. That's the first step, to forgive the person, not because they didn't do, or they must get away with what they did, but because it's for you, the individual. I believe also learn to love self. Learn to love yourself. Learn to see that you are worth it, and that you are valuable. If you're a Christian, know that you're God's child, and that He loves you, that you are the apple of His eyes, that you are His treasure, you're His ruby. I am big on having a therapist. I'm big on that. Because that helps. Just talking helps. Just telling this to somebody, you're not gonna see them again after all these sessions. Just go ahead and just empty out on them. Just talking about the situation brings healing. Have a journal. It's good to just write out exactly how you feel. You can say, I hate the person. It's how you feel. If you say you want to kill the person, write it. I did those stuff. I even sweared in, had curse words in my whole journal. Even when I was writing, oh dear Lord, I was writing exactly how I felt, because I didn't want to hide any parts of me, even from the Lord. So I let Him know exactly how I felt about the situation. So you're right, you have a journal, but then I believe also, I remember when I was in one of my sessions, I got a homework to do where I would, basically, there was an empty chair, and I would speak to that chair as though the person was there. So it's basically taking off all of whatever I was feeling, putting it back on that person, the imaginary person, of course. But but it made a world of difference.
Okay.
And then also writing a letter to the person and burning it. Also, maybe if you have a trusted person, a trusted friend, that you could just share, like whenever you have flashbacks, whenever you have different things going on, whether you feel like you're going to go into that depressive state, and where you tend to isolate. And of course, when when you're in depression, you don't care about how you look, so when you feel like you're going into that, where somebody can just say, hey, remember this, remember who you are, and remember this, just to encourage you, and to just help you boost up your self-esteem, your confidence once again. I look at my life as beauty for ashes. And I think that's what a lot of persons, because a lot of women, not just here in Jamaica, but around the world, has been molesting a lot of us. And I think that we don't allow ourselves to properly heal. I think we just continue with life. But then we have to just say, take a step back and be able to allow the Lord to just turn the ashes into beauty. So that's my encouragement.
Thank you. Yes, we got a lot of nuggets from wise Yanike after going through your challenges, and it's it's just true that the Lord will use our experiences for good, for His good. And as you were talking about even your social work at the time, I was thinking about the same thing, that having gone into that area of study and having gone through what you did, there's so many persons that I'm sure you can help, because you have been there. You can help them more than somebody who has not been there, because you don't understand. Other people don't understand. So I think they're into our conversation on the positive note of, no matter what you've been through, the Lord can use our experiences for His good.
Amen.
And seeing ourselves through His lens is so important, regardless of what we have gone through. So thank you so much for sharing.
Not a problem.
We have our workshop coming up on the 31st of October. The theme is celebrating sexual purity. And so if you have gone through any trauma related to sexual activity, or if you are just on the journey to remaining pure, we want to invite you to join us, to be in a space where like-minded people who want to overcome, or people who want to stay the path, are in the space, are willing to share, are willing to listen. We'll have counselors, we'll have speakers, and just a safe space to unpack and start or continue that healing journey. So thanks again. It was good.
A pleasure.
All right. Bye, guys.
Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? Are you ready to honor that truth? Join us on Saturday, October 31st at 7 Swallowfield Road for Navigating Trauma, a powerful in-person workshop celebrating sexual purity, a safe, Bible-centered space for adults serious about breaking free from the past and walking in wholeness. Register today at transformto1.com. We'll see you there.